tonight, including from our first guest, Congressman Michael Waltz, Republican from Florida. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon.
So Secretary of State Antony Blinken says this: responsible nations must not shrink from scrutiny of their human rights record. Rather, they should acknowledge it with the intent to improve. Why do you think this is a bad idea?
Well, he also said that the United States should stand in judgment of the rest of the world. And, frankly, he should be a little ashamed of himself. We're getting lectured in the United Nations by the likes of North Korea, China, Russia, and Cuba, all of which have been on the United Nations Human Rights Council. So it's just, it's sad. It's laughable if it weren't so sad. But, he has to ask himself, why is the entire world banging down the doors of America to come here if this nation is so bad? We are a beacon and light. We are an exceptional nation. We, of course, have our flaws in our past, but the United States will continue to lead the world. The problem, Shannon, very quickly, with Blinken and those around him and those around Biden, they believe fundamentally in two things: that America is more part of the problem around the world than it is a solution, and that if we apologize enough, concede enough, and give enough, that the rest of the world will be nice back to us. That's not how our adversaries operate. I could tell you from being around the Middle East and Africa and South Asia, they smell weakness right now, and I think they're going to take advantage of it, and this plays right into their propaganda.
Yeah, and China already lecturing us earlier this year on the issues of BLM and democracies and issues within the U.S. It seems that they would only be too happy to get any material they could to use against us in that potential
And lectured us on U.S. soil, Shannon.
Yeah, exactly.
On U.S. soil.
About that.
Right.
I want to ask you about this issue of CRT in military academies. You have served our country in many ways, but also in uniform. And I know you're hearing about this, but a professor at the Air Force Academy says this. She says, I don't coddle my cadets out of fear that exposure to certain literatures might make them uncomfortable or test their existing beliefs. Cadets must learn to be brave on the literal battlefield, yes, but they must also be equipped to participate bravely on the battlefield of ideas. She says that's why they got to have these conversations.
Yeah, well, where she's misguided, and so many senior leaders in the Pentagon, is critical race theory and the academia around it is not a history class. They're not talking about something that happened hundreds of years ago. They're talking about the fact that our Constitution, our courts, our political system is systemically racist, misogynist, colonialist today. And they're teaching that to the very people that we're going to ask to go die for those institutions and die to defend that flag. It's incredibly disturbing. I can tell you, having fought around the world, we need to keep a military that's apolitical, mission-focused, merit-based, and focused on winning our nation's war. And in the foxhole, nobody cares about black, white, or brown. Our enemy's bullets certainly don't care. And at the end of the day, our military needs to focus on the fact that you bleed green, your skin color's camouflage. It doesn't matter where you came from. You're all now Americans, and you're all moving forward as one. And critical race theory undermines all of that. Yet it's being taught in every one of our military academies, including in West Point, a seminar titled How to Deal with Your Whiteness and Your White Rage. That's not something 100 years ago. That's something they're teaching as a fact today. And that's a huge problem, and we're going to do everything we can to put a stop to it.
Well, I know you hear from military families and concerned parents and folks who are now a part of these environments. Okay, Congressman and veteran, thank you very much. Great to have you.
Okay, thanks, Shannon.